Okay, today we have to discuss these questions from 7 till 15 of GRE Quantitative. Okay, and in this question we have four options. A is the option if we have the quantity in column A is greater. This is column A, the first one. And B is the one that we have to select if we think the quantity in column B is greater, right? C is something that we can select or we have to select if the two quantities are equal. And D means that we cannot determine the relationship between the two quantities because the information that is given is not sufficient enough. Okay, so the first question is negative m is equal to the absolute value of negative 3. So I can say that negative m is equal to 3 because the absolute value of negative 3 would be 3. Or I can say m is equal to negative 3. So this is negative 3 and this is 3. I have to compare these two quantities. Obviously 3 is greater, so I would say B is greater, right? Or B is the answer. Because the quantity in column B is greater, so I would select B. Okay, n is an even integer and a multiple of 3, right? So if we plug in different values of n, let's say it has to be an even integer and it also has to be a multiple of 3. So you can use 6, you can use 12, and so on, and you will find out you are getting different values, right? So there is no one answer. So in this case, when we do not have one answer or we cannot decide the relationship between the two quantities in column A and column B, we select D as the answer because we think, or that is the case, that the information given is not sufficient enough. Okay. All right, so equilateral triangle is given here. Equilateral means all the three sides are equal, and PQR is formed by joining centers P, Q, and R of the circles. Each pair of circles has exactly one common point. A perimeter of triangle PQR, we have to compare that with the circumference of the circle with center Q. Now you see this thing is the radius, right? So this is obviously the radius. If I have to find out the perimeter of this entire triangle, I would say 6R, right? And if I have to find out the circumference of the circle with center Q, which is this, the circumference of this circle, that is the outer boundary, the formula for that is 2 pi n r. So basically what we are comparing is we are comparing 2 pi with 6, right? And I know that 2 pi is greater because pi has a value of 3.1415925 and so on. So when you multiply 2 with this number, it will be greater than 6, right? So the answer to this is B. Okay, the 10th one is we have to compare the volumes of the cylindrical tanks. Both are cylindrical tanks, and in both the cases we are supposed to compare the volume. The formula for the volume of a cylinder is 2 pi r square h, right? If you plug in the values of pi r square, for example, r here is 2 and h is 10, right? And here r is 1 and the height is 20, you will figure out that the option for 10 is A, or the quantity in column A is greater. Okay. The other question, which is the 11th one, says that the time required to travel d miles at s miles per hour, we have to compare that time to the time required to travel d over 2 miles at 2s miles per hour, right? We'll use the formula of distance is equal to velocity into time. S is equal to vt. Arrange it for time, that would be s over v. So the distance here is d and the speed is s, right? And it's given in hours. Okay, for this one it is d over 2 and the speed is 2s. So this will be d over 4s. If I compare d over s to d over 4s, this is having a 4 in the denominator, which is reducing its value. So A quantity is greater, right? This thing is greater. Okay, triangle RST is an isosceles triangle and angle RST is 40 degrees, right? Now we have a triangle of this sort in which the two legs are equal, but the thing here is we do not know which exactly angle is R, S and T, right? Which one of these three is R, S and T, so we cannot decide that what the other quantities will be. So we can say that the information given is not sufficient enough and we can select D as the answer. Okay, the 13th one, this is given. I'll start with the midterm breaking. X4 plus 3x squared plus 3x squared. This 6 has been split down into these two. I've taken x squared common from these two values and 3 common from these two, the last two. I'm left with x squared plus 3 and x squared plus 3 written twice. Plus 3 is twice. This and this cancels out. X squared plus 3 is the the reduced form or the simplified form of this thing, which is exactly the same as this one. So I can say C is the answer because both are equal, right? It means that both the quantities in column A and column B are exactly the same. Okay, now this one, the 14th one. Here I'll compare the triangle. It also says O is the center of the circle and AOC is a right angle. Okay, so this will be 46. This will again be 44 and this will be 90, right? Okay, I'll use some of the formulas. OD, because I have to compare OD and BD. The sides. So OB here cos 46. BD is equal to OB sine 46. Right? Now, this is something that I have to compare in order to figure out that which one is greater, right? Because this quantity is the same in both. Okay, sine 46 is equal to 0.7193, which is greater than the value of cos 46, which is 0.6947, right? So I can say that BD is bigger than OD and I'll select B as the answer. Right, the last one, before Maria changed jobs, her salary was 24% more than Julio's salary, right? Let me say that Julio's salary was $100, and because Maria's salary was 24% more, so that would be $124, before the change. So old Maria's salary, I would say. Now it says that after Maria changed her job, the new salary was 24% less than her old salary. So now I have to reduce this number down by 24%, or I have to subtract 24% of 124 from it, right? So 24% of 124 would be 24 over 100 multiplied by 124, which will be approximately 6. And if I not exactly 6, that would be in total I would say 124 minus 24% of 124 will give you the answer of $94. So that would be the Maria's new salary, right? This thing. So this is 94 according to our assumptions, and Julio's salary, the original one, was 100. So obviously Julio's salary is greater, right? I'll select A as the answer for this one. Okay, that's it for this video.